Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. And tonight our question comes to us from some random pagan. And some random pagan asks whether it would be acceptable to use an ordinary object as a magical tool in a pinch, even if one plans to return it to use as an ordinary object afterwards. And my answer to this is that ultimately, yes, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Ultimately, your real tools are inside. Your real altar is your heart. Your real magical tools are your brain and your senses. And the externals are only there to help you to access these things. Probably the most famous example is the athame. And in fact, in his question, some random pagan specifically references using a black-handled pocket knife in lieu of a formal athame, and whether this would be acceptable. The more common example given is using your finger for the athame. You don't really need a physical tool to cast a circle. You don't really need a physical tool for anything. It's only there to help. It's never necessary. Magic, to be useful, must be able to be done wherever you are and whenever you need it, not just under special circumstances. And if you can only do it under those special circumstances, its usefulness is extremely limited. Luckily, you can do it whenever you need it. The important thing is never to convince yourself that you are dependent upon tools or special circumstances, but to know that you can call upon it whenever it is needed. One of the things I've been thinking about the last couple of days is my own attitude toward magic, and it occurred to me that my attitude toward magic is rather like my attitude toward cooking. And I will have to admit I haven't done a lot of cooking in recent years because my lifestyle really has not been conducive to it, but at one time I did quite a bit of cooking. And when I learned to cook, I used recipes, I measured ingredients, I put them together the way the book said or the way the recipe that my mother or someone else had used said to do it. And that was very good at first. But then I learned that cooking really can be an art rather than a science. And I learned to measure by sight. I learned to season by taste. I learned to regard a recipe as merely a guideline and a starting place. And I basically started cooking according to where spirit led me. And I found that this was much more satisfying and much more creative. My attitude toward magic is the same. When you're learning it, it's fine to feel that you're dependent on certain circumstances or tools, but you should move beyond this fairly early, because otherwise you're merely confining yourself for no reason. Ultimately, again, the true altar is the heart. The true magical tools are the brain, the senses, experience, etc. So I hope that is helpful. Those are my thoughts on this subject, and until next time, may you blessed be.